Chosen one. Pause for a moment, because what you are hearing right now is not coincidence. You did not arrive here by chance, by scrolling, or by curiosity. Heaven orchestrated this exact second with divine precision, aligning your spirit with a message that was appointed for you long before you even knew to look for it. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift, a moment so sacred, so weighty, that it carries the power to rewrite the direction of your life in a single night. Yes, one night can change everything. And for you, that night may be today, tonight, or in the hours and days ahead. This is what Scripture calls a kairos moment, an appointed time. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, "Though the vision tarries, wait for it will surely come. It will not delay." Chosen one, that moment you've been carrying, praying for, wrestling with, it has reached its fullness. Anointed one, the atmosphere around you has shifted. Heaven is leaning in. The appointed hour is here. So open your spirit, steady your heart, and get ready, because what God is about to reveal to you in this message could be the very turning point your entire destiny has been waiting for. Chosen one, listen closely, because what I am about to speak into your spirit is not casual, not accidental, and not common. Heaven has been aligning this moment long before your eyes ever landed on these words. You are stepping into a divine intersection, one of those rare, holy moments where everything that felt delayed, denied, or forgotten suddenly begins to shift with a supernatural swiftness. Not gradually, not eventually. But in that unmistakable way, heaven moves when your appointed hour has arrived. And chosen one, that hour is here. You've been sensing it, even if you couldn't articulate it. That subtle stirring in your spirit. That moment you woke up and the air felt different. The quiet tug on your heart reminding you of dreams you buried years ago. The sudden awareness that the heaviness you carried for so long no longer feels permanent. That is not imagination. That is not emotion. That is divine preparation. For too long, you've carried battles that weren't visible to anyone else. Silent storms, unanswered prayers, seasons so long and dark you questioned everything. Your purpose, your strength, even your worth. You wondered if heaven skipped over your name. But chosen one, you were not being skipped. You were being shaped. Heaven was building a foundation within you that pressure alone could produce. I know that place personally. I've walked through days where the weight felt unbearable, where I smiled in public while breaking in private, where I juggled the not enough of life praying for a miracle that seemed to stay out of reach. I know what it feels like to think, maybe my season passed, maybe I missed it. But every tear, every disappointment, every closed door was a seed. You weren't being punished, you were being planted. And seeds don't stay buried. They break through, they rise, they bloom, and they bloom suddenly in a moment no one sees coming. Chosen one, you've been living in the slow time, the human time, the counting of days and months that feels like nothing is changing. That's Chronos. But heaven has been working in Kairos, the appointed moment when everything converges at once. The moment when what you prayed for and what heaven prepared finally collide. And that collision is the one night that changes everything. Some of you don't realize how close you are. Heaven is shifting things in the invisible realm right now, aligning resources, moving people, lifting burdens, breaking chains you didn't even know were still wrapped around your spirit. You may not see it yet, but your spirit feels it. The atmosphere around your life is tightening, expanding, rearranging. That pressure is not attack, it is transition. Chosen one, your breakthrough is not coming from the outside in, it is coming from the inside out. Before one door opens, something inside you must awaken. Before finances multiply, your identity must settle. Before relationships restore, your spirit must align. Heaven is not waiting for your circumstances to change. Heaven is waiting for you to shift. And that shift begins with recognition. Recognizing who you are, what season you're in, and what heaven is calling you to step into. You are no longer in the season of begging. You are entering the season of receiving. You are no longer in the season of striving. You are entering the season of resting in divine timing. You are no longer in the season of explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand your assignment. You are entering the season of quiet confidence, where your presence speaks louder than your words. I know it feels strange. I know you've been withdrawing from conversations, feeling less desire to post, less urge to prove anything to anyone. That is not isolation, that is incubation. Heaven pulled you back so it could pull you higher. What has been happening inside you, this stretching, this awakening, this quiet shift is about to manifest outside you. The private work is about to become a public unveiling. In Chosen One, the unveiling will be sudden. You may not feel ready, but heaven is. You may not see the full picture, but heaven does. You may not think the timing makes sense, but heaven says the appointed moment has arrived. And when heaven moves, everything accelerates. Doors open, favor rises, provision multiplies, strength returns, clarity flows. And the very areas where you felt the weakest will become the very places heaven displays its glory through you. Chosen One, the one night that changes everything is closer than you think, and heaven is preparing you to recognize it when it arrives. Chosen One, as you move deeper into this divine shift, I need you to understand something with holy clarity. Heaven is not reacting to your circumstances, heaven is orchestrating them. What feels random to you is strategic to God. What feels delayed to you is perfectly timed in the realm of the Spirit. And what feels like pressure is actually positioning. You are stepping into a supernatural alignment that has been forming quietly beneath the surface of your life. This is why certain things have felt unsettled lately. Not because something is wrong, but because something is being rearranged. Every area of your life that once felt stuck is being loosened. Every part of you that felt numb is waking back up. Every dream that felt dead is stirring again. That is the evidence that your one-night moment is closer than ever. Heaven does not activate desire unless destiny is near. Chosen One, some of you have wondered why your spirit has been so sensitive lately, why small things move you, why old wounds suddenly resurface, why old patterns feel uncomfortable, even unbearable now. It's because heaven is removing the last layers of what cannot go with you into your next season. You can't take fear into a season of acceleration. You can't take insecurity into a season of visibility. You can't take survival mode into a season of abundance. The stretching you feel is spiritual preparation. The discomfort is evidence that you are outgrowing the version of yourself that existed in your old season. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. And the breaking open is necessary for the blessing that is about to flow. Let me speak personally for a moment, Chosen One, because I know exactly how this season feels. There were years in my life where everything seemed to collapse at the same time. Financial struggles, emotional exhaustion, doors closing with no explanation, relationships fading without warning. I used to think it was punishment or abandonment, but now looking back, I realize it was divine preparation. Heaven removed what was temporary so I could rise into what was eternal. That season built courage I didn't know I needed. It built discipline I never would have chosen. It built faith that only fire could produce. And I feel in my spirit deeply that you too are emerging from a similar refining. You didn't survive for nothing. You didn't endure for nothing. Everything you passed through became the strength required for what heaven is about to release. Chosen One, your spirit has been picking up signals your mind couldn't explain. The dreams, the sudden ideas, the unusual peace, the awareness that something is shifting, that is heaven speaking. You're not imagining it. You're not overthinking. You're not being dramatic. You're spiritually discerning the start of your acceleration. I need you to trust that. Heaven never stirs a soul without purpose, and heaven never positions a vessel without intention. You are that vessel, shaped, purified, stretched, humbled, strengthened. Not perfect, but prepared. And preparation is heaven's highest endorsement. One of the greatest signs that your one-night transformation is near is this. You've lost the desire to fight battles that no longer matter. You don't react the same way. You don't chase old arguments. You don't defend yourself to people who never understood you. You don't explain your calling to small-minded voices. This is not detachment, it is elevation. Heaven is calling you higher. The noise you used to respond to can't reach you anymore. You're stepping into a level of spiritual clarity where distraction loses its power and destiny becomes your focus. You are being refined into someone who can handle the blessing without losing yourself in the process. Chosen one, favor is beginning to gather around your name. You may not see it fully yet, but the signs are already appearing. Small things are aligning. Conversations feel divinely timed. People show up with opportunities you never asked for. Unexpected encouragement comes right when you needed it. These are not coincidences. These are heavenly breadcrumbs guiding you into your appointed moment. When heaven accelerates someone, it never starts with the big miracle. It starts with subtle signals that whisper, "Your time is near." And I need you to realize this. What's coming is bigger than personal breakthrough. It's bigger than one answered prayer. Heaven is preparing to shift the trajectory of your life. Not a small change, a generational one. A transformation that rewrites patterns your family carried for decades. A blessing that heals what your parents could not fix. A restoration that breaks cycles your ancestors could not overcome. This is why your warfare has been intense. This is why your delays felt endless. This is why your spirit has been heavy at times. You're not just carrying your own destiny, you're carrying legacy, you're carrying lineage. You're carrying the turning point for everything connected to your name. Chosen one, hear this deeply. The one night that changes everything will not be random. It will be the visible manifestation of everything heaven has been preparing in secret. It may come through a phone call, an open door, a divine connection, a sudden idea, a contract, a healing moment, a financial release, or a breakthrough you couldn't manufacture if you tried. But when it comes, it will come with such clarity, such peace, such undeniable divine fingerprints that you will know. This is the moment heaven spoke about. This is the shift I felt coming. This is the Kairos appointed for me. Chosen one, your preparation is ending. Your positioning is beginning. Heaven is aligning everything for your rise. Chosen one, as you continue moving into this divine unfolding, I need you to recognize the sacred truth about the season you're stepping into. Breakthrough does not begin with a change in circumstances. It begins with a change in identity. Heaven doesn't release abundance into a heart still shaped by scarcity. It doesn't release promotion into a mind still carrying old limitations. It doesn't release visibility into a spirit still wounded by past rejection. A new season requires a new internal posture, and heaven has been forming this posture inside you quietly, sometimes painfully, but always purposefully. That inner shift you've been experiencing, the subtle confidence, the quiet strength, the growing clarity, that is the true beginning of your transformation. Chosen one, you may not realize it, but heaven has been detoxing your spirit, removing fear, softening your heart, rewriting old narratives, breaking patterns you didn't even know were influencing you. You've been losing the desire to cling to what once made you feel safe, because heaven always removes false security to make room for divine provision. You've been sensing a gentle push to trust, even when trusting doesn't make sense. You've been feeling a pull to release control, even when control was what you used to survive. This is the evidence that heaven has been preparing your inner atmosphere for a supernatural shift. You are not the same person you were a year ago, even 6 months ago. Something in you has matured, deepened, awakened. Heaven has been shaping you into someone who can carry a blessing without collapsing under its weight. Chosen one, let me speak from experience for a moment, because I know what it feels like to step into this kind of spiritual transformation. There was a time when I lived constantly on edge, measuring my worth through outcomes, second-guessing every decision, fearing that one misstep would disqualify me from God's plan. I didn't realize that heaven wasn't waiting for perfection. Heaven was waiting for surrender. The moment I stopped trying to earn what was already appointed for me, everything shifted. Doors opened that I didn't knock on. Opportunities came that I didn't chase. Strength returned in ways that defied logic. And the same grace that found me in that place is the grace that is wrapping around your story right now. You are not being promoted because you figured everything out. You're being promoted because heaven can finally trust what has been formed within you. Chosen one, your spirit has already crossed the threshold. Your life is simply catching up. That's why your desires have changed. That's why certain people no longer feel aligned with you. That's why certain environments drain you now. Elevation always creates separation, not as punishment, but as protection. Heaven will never allow you to carry old attachments into a new assignment. Some people were part of your journey, but not your destiny. Some relationships were meant to shape you, but not accompany you. Some spaces were meant to grow you, but not sustain you. And the discomfort you feel around certain things now is heaven signaling. You've outgrown this. Let it go. Chosen one, heaven has been teaching you to discern the difference between familiar and aligned. Familiar feels safe, but aligned feels divine. Familiar is comfortable, but aligned is destined. Your next season requires alignment, not attachment. That's why heaven has been disrupting old cycles. That's why your spirit has been restless in places that once felt normal. That restlessness is not frustration, it is divine recalibration. Heaven is pulling you toward the spaces, people, opportunities, and atmospheres that match your next level. Chosen one, understand this. Supernatural acceleration begins with supernatural clarity, and heaven is about to illuminate areas of your life that have confused you for years. In the coming days, you will begin to understand why certain things didn't work out, why certain doors closed, why God protected you from what you thought you wanted, why delays were actually detours with purpose. Heaven is not cruel, heaven is calculated. You will look back on decisions, losses, disappointments, and unanswered prayers with new eyes and suddenly see the fingerprints of God where you once saw only frustration. This clarity is not just revelation, it is preparation. Heaven reveals so you can release. Heaven clarifies so you can step forward without fear. And chosen one, you are entering a season where heaven will bring the right people into your life. People who carry keys, wisdom, resources, and connections that feel undeniably appointed. These individuals will not come through force, striving, or chasing. They will appear through divine timing, unexpected encounters, sudden conversations, messages at the right moment. People who recognize the grace on your life instantly because they were spiritually assigned to your journey. Heaven will place you in rooms your name has already reached, and opportunities will arrive that bypass every limitation you once believed defined you. You won't have to fight for recognition. Heaven will make your presence known. Chosen one, hear this with your whole spirit. Your life is not rising slowly, it is rising suddenly. The momentum is shifting, the atmosphere is opening, the spiritual weight is lifting. Heaven is aligning your internal world before it transforms your external world. The one night that changes everything will be the visible unfolding of what heaven started inside you long ago. You are closer than you think, you are more prepared than you feel, and heaven has already begun the work. Chosen one. As you move even deeper into this prophetic unfolding, I need you to recognize something essential. Heaven has not only been preparing you, it has been positioning you. Every loss, every delay, every moment you felt overlooked was not abandonment. It was alignment. You were being moved, shaped, repositioned into the exact spiritual coordinates required for what is about to be released into your life. Heaven never wastes pain, and it never wastes preparation. If it remained in your story, it served a purpose. If it was removed, it served your destiny. Nothing in your past was random. Every detail has been woven into the exact moment you are approaching now. Chosen one, you have reached a turning point in the spirit. This is why your discernment has sharpened so intensely. You can sense dishonesty quicker. You notice manipulation instantly. You feel drained by superficial connections that once felt tolerable. This is not mood, personality change, or emotional inconsistency. This is spiritual elevation. Heaven is recalibrating your intuition so that when divine opportunities arrive, you can recognize what is from God and what is not. Discernment is the currency of your next level. Without it, you would misidentify blessings as burdens and assignments as distractions. Heaven is strengthening your inner compass so you can navigate what's coming with clarity and authority. Chosen one, I know you sometimes question if you're truly ready. You wonder if you're spiritually mature enough, stable enough, healed enough, disciplined enough. But readiness in the eyes of heaven is not perfection, it is willingness. All God ever needed was your yes, your surrender, your trust, your obedience even when the path made no sense. And heaven has watched you say yes in the dark, yes in the confusion, yes in the heartbreak, yes even when you felt like quitting. That is why heaven can now trust you with what others mishandled. Your private obedience has authorized your public elevation. Chosen one of the clearest signs that your breakthrough is near is this. You have begun to value peace more than anything else. You no longer crave chaos disguised as excitement. You don't chase people who keep you guessing. You don't tolerate environments that drain your spirit. You have learned to protect your energy like a sacred assignment. That is not weakness. That is maturity. Heaven elevates those who prioritize what heaven prioritizes. And peace is the atmosphere where clarity, creativity, and divine strategy flow freely. This newfound peace within you is not accidental. It's prophetic. It's the internal preparation for the external blessing. Chosen one, heaven is also teaching you the power of silence. Not the silence of fear or suppression, but the silence of focus. You have stopped announcing every idea. You have stopped explaining every plan. You have stopped sharing your dreams with people who cannot comprehend your vision. This is because heaven is pulling you into a season where what you carry must be protected. Some things cannot be spoken prematurely. Some blessings cannot be exposed too early. Seeds grow in the soil, not on the surface. Your silence is not emptiness, it is incubation. Heaven has hidden you for a reason, and soon heaven will reveal you for a purpose. Chosen one, let me tell you something many people never understand. Breakthrough attracts testing. Not the testing meant to break you, but the testing meant to stabilize you. When heaven elevates you, your character must be strong enough to sustain what your spirit is receiving. Some of the tests you've been facing lately, patience, humility, generosity, restraint, forgiveness, were not punishments. They were confirmation that heaven was preparing to release more. Heaven never gives you a blessing that your character is not ready to hold. And everything you've endured, every temptation you've resisted, every time you chose integrity over impulse, you proved that you are ready for the next level. Chosen one, what's coming is not merely survival. It is not a small relief. It is not a minor improvement. It is a complete supernatural reordering of your life. A shift so profound that you will look back at this season and say, I didn't even realize heaven was preparing me for something this big. You are stepping into a dimension where opportunities appear effortlessly, where wisdom flows naturally, where doors open before you even knock. This is not fantasy, it's alignment. When you enter the season designed for you, everything that belongs to you begins to move toward you. Chosen one, hear this with your whole being. Heaven is not delaying you. Heaven is delivering you. You are standing in the doorway of a life that once felt impossible. You are closer to clarity than confusion, closer to breakthrough than breakdown, closer to fulfillment than frustration. The pressure you feel right now is the final stage before the shift. It is the spiritual equivalent of dawn, the heaviness just before the light breaks. Chosen one, your one night is approaching, and when it comes, everything heaven has been orchestrating will unfold in perfect order, perfect timing, and perfect peace. Chosen one, as we step further into this prophetic unveiling, I need you to grasp a truth that will anchor you for the rest of your journey. What heaven is preparing to release into your life will not come as addition. It will come as transformation. This is not about receiving a blessing. It is about becoming someone who carries blessing. It is not about getting what you lost. It is about rising into what you were always meant to walk in. Heaven is not restoring you to where you were. Heaven is elevating you far beyond anything you've ever known. And for that reason, everything in your life, internally and externally, has been undergoing divine rearrangement. Chosen one, think for a moment about how different you are now compared to the version of you who entered your last season. You used to love with desperation. Now you love with discernment. You used to chase validation. Now you stand in identity. You used to overthink every decision. Now you feel a calm certainty guiding you. You used to tolerate things that drained you. Now your spirit rejects anything that tries to dim your light. These are not small changes. These are signs of spiritual maturity that heaven has been cultivating within you. You are rising into your calling not by force, but by refinement. Chosen one, there is something sacred you must understand. Heaven promotes those who have learned how to surrender. There is a strength in letting go that is greater than the strength found in holding on. For many of you, the hardest part of your journey has not been the battles you fought. It has been the things you had to release: people, expectations, old identities, false comforts, familiar environments. Your heart didn't want to let go, but your spirit knew it had to. Heaven couldn't elevate you while you were tied to places that kept you small. And as painful as that release was, it became the doorway into your transformation. Chosen one, I want to speak directly to a hidden part of you, the part that wonders if the sacrifices were worth it. The quiet voice that sometimes asks, did I really hear God? Did I misread the signs? Was all this preparation just in my imagination? Let me reassure you, heaven wastes nothing. The tears you cried were not wasted. The nights you couldn't sleep were not wasted. The prayers you whispered through exhaustion were not wasted. Heaven heard everything, recorded everything, used everything. You have no idea how much your faithfulness in the dark moved the heart of God. This season of stretching was never punishment, it was placement. You are being positioned for a life that requires a refined soul. Chosen one, some of the heaviness you've been feeling recently isn't attack, it's transition. When a door's about to open, the final moments before breakthrough often feel like tension, pressure, and spiritual tightness. Not because something is wrong, but because something is close, very close. That pressing you feel is the spiritual equivalent of the atmosphere shifting right before the rain falls. Heaven is preparing to pour, and your spirit can feel the weight of what's coming even before your mind understands it. You are not breaking down. You are breaking into your next dimension. Chosen one, what is ahead of you requires a version of you that cannot be shaken by circumstances. And heaven has been building that version through every trial. You've survived storms that would have destroyed a weaker soul. You've endured seasons that others would have walked away from. You kept showing up even when you felt empty. You kept believing even when you felt forgotten. You kept praying even when you didn't feel anything. That consistency, that stubborn faith, is why heaven is trusting you with a blessing that others cannot carry. You have become someone who can steward breakthrough without being consumed by it. Chosen one, in your next season, you will notice something extraordinary. Things that once took months will happen in days. Opportunities that once required years of building will arrive with ease. Connections will appear effortlessly. Ideas will come with clarity. Provision will show up without strain. This is not coincidence. It is divine acceleration. Heaven is redeeming time that life, people, and circumstances tried to steal from you. Your one-night moment is not just a breakthrough, it is a redemption arc written by heaven itself. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You are not stepping into a blessing, you are stepping into a new identity, a new standard, a new level of impact, a new dimension of purpose. You are being positioned to influence, uplift, and shift the atmosphere for others. Your testimony will become proof that God still moves. Your rise will become evidence that divine timing is real. Your restoration will become a model for those who feel forgotten. Heaven is preparing to use your life as a sign. Chosen one, everything in your journey has led to this upcoming shift, and the shift will be sudden, undeniable, and deeply personal. This is the season where heaven makes all things new, not gradually, but divinely, decisively, and supernaturally. Chosen one, as you lean further into this divine revelation, there is something heaven needs you to grasp with absolute clarity. You are no longer in the season of surviving. You are entering the season of becoming. Everything about your journey is shifting from endurance to emergence. The battle-tested version of you, the refined version of you, the spiritually awakened version of you is now stepping into alignment with what heaven ordained long before your battles ever began. This is the part where the story turns. This is the moment where the unseen roots of your faith finally break through the surface. Chosen one, you have to understand what kind of oil now rests on your life. Not the oil of convenience, but the oil of crushing. Not the oil of comfort, but the oil of endurance. Not the oil given freely, but the oil produced through valleys, losses, and long nights of wrestling for clarity. That oil carries weight. It carries authority. It carries a fragrance that only comes from people who have walked through fire and refused to bow. That is why your spirit feels different now. You don't panic the way you used to. You don't collapse under pressure the way you once did. You've become stable in a way only storms can teach, and that stability is a sign that heaven can trust you with what's coming. Chosen one, heaven is elevating you into a place where the very areas you used to struggle in will become the areas you carry grace for. Where you once felt small, you will walk in confidence. Where you once lacked, you will carry abundance. Where you once felt overlooked, you will stand in divine visibility. Where you once struggled to hear God, you will perceive Him with clarity. Heaven is not just restoring you, heaven is reversing the narrative. The painful chapters of your story are about to become the testimony that fuels your influence. Chosen one, let me share something deeply personal. There were seasons in my life where everything felt stripped away. Identity, security, direction. During those times, I felt forgotten, invisible, misplaced. But now looking back, I see that heaven was not dismissing me. Heaven was developing me. Every moment that felt like loss was actually God clearing space. Every moment that felt like silence was God speaking through rearrangement. Every moment that felt like rejection was God rerouting my destiny. And I sense strongly in my spirit that you have been walking through a similar divine construction zone. It looked like dismantling, but it was rebuilding. It looked like endings, but it was repositioning. Your foundation needed to be reinforced for the weight of what heaven is about to place in your hands. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season of supernatural clarity. You will begin to see people's intentions without explanation. You will feel the spiritual atmosphere of a room within seconds of entering it. You will discern opportunities with precision, knowing immediately which ones are from God and which ones are distractions. This is critical because in seasons of acceleration, distractions multiply. Counterfeits show up. False opportunities appear. People from the past suddenly resurface. But your discernment is being sharpened so that you only align with what carries heaven's signature. Your spirit will no longer tolerate anything that isn't aligned with your calling. Chosen one, another sign of your elevation is this. You have begun to crave purpose more than comfort. You're no longer satisfied with routines that lead nowhere. You feel restless in environments that don't grow you. You're hungry for meaning, depth, and direction. That hunger is a divine signal. It means heaven is calling you into territory your old self could never have handled. This is why certain interests have faded and new passions are emerging. Heaven is redirecting your focus toward assignments that will bring impact, fulfillment, and generational transformation. Chosen one, heaven is about to send something into your life that will shift your entire pace. A divine opportunity, a supernatural download, a connection that opens doors you never dreamed possible. And it will not require striving. It will not require begging. It will not require forcing. What is from heaven comes with ease. Not ease in the sense of comfort, but ease in the sense of divine orchestration. Doors will open because they were assigned to open. People will arrive because they were assigned to arrive. Provision will appear because it was assigned to appear. Heaven's timing is never late. It is precise. Chosen one, the version of you standing here now is ready in ways you don't even realize. Your posture has changed. Your mindset has shifted. Your spirit has matured. Your heart has healed. You are stepping into a life that once felt impossible, not because everything became easy, but because heaven made you unshakable. The blessing you're about to receive isn't fragile, and neither are you. Heaven has made sure of that. Chosen one, the one night that changes everything is not just approaching, it is aligning. And heaven is making every detail perfect for your emergence. Chosen one, As you continue walking through this divine unfolding, you must understand that you are stepping into a level of spiritual authority that has been years in the making. This isn't sudden in the sense of randomness. It is sudden in the sense of revelation. Heaven has been building this moment behind the curtain of your life, and now the veil is lifting. Your spirit is beginning to catch up to what heaven already declared over you. This is why everything in your life feels like it's shifting all at once. Your mindset, your desires, your priorities, your sense of direction. You are not losing control. You are gaining clarity. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming aligned. You are not withdrawing. You are being elevated. Chosen one, there is something sacred happening inside you that may feel unfamiliar. Your confidence is returning. Not the shallow confidence that depended on achievements or people's opinions. Not the fragile confidence that rose and fell based on circumstances. This is deeper. This is spiritual confidence, identity confidence, divine confidence. It is the awareness that what is for you cannot be taken from you, and what heaven ordained for you cannot be blocked. You are beginning to walk with the understanding that you are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. And once your spirit grasps that truth, everything about the way you move changes. Chosen one, the season you are entering requires confidence, not arrogance. It requires humility wrapped in boldness. You have been trained for this. Life humbled you. Battles strengthened you. Delays disciplined you. Loss refined you. All of it created a balanced strength. A strength that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to compete. A strength that simply exists, quietly, undeniably, unshakably. The kind of strength heaven trusts with influence. The kind of strength that opens doors without forcing them. The kind of strength that attracts blessings instead of chasing them. Chosen one, heaven is preparing to restore areas of your life that were buried under disappointment. I need you to prepare your heart for restoration on levels you didn't think were possible anymore. Dreams you walked away from. Desires you released. Parts of you that you thought were done. Heaven is breathing life back into places that felt dead. This is why you've been remembering old ideas, old passions, old visions. They are resurfacing for a reason. They are not reminders of failure. They are signals of future fulfillment. Heaven is telling you, what you thought was over was never over. It was simply waiting for the right time. Chosen one, many of you have been wrestling with a strange mix of peace and anticipation. You feel calm, yet expectant, settled, yet stirred. That is what divine alignment feels like. The peace is your spirit recognizing heaven's presence. The anticipation is your spirit recognizing heaven's timing. You are standing in a prophetic overlap, the ending of one chapter and the beginning of another. That space in between feels unfamiliar, but it is holy. It is heaven's transition zone, the place where God finishes what he started in you before revealing what he prepared for you. Chosen one, let me speak to something personal. You have been misunderstood for much of your life. People have called you too sensitive, too intense, too deep, too focused, too different. They didn't realize those traits were not flaws. They were indicators. Indicators that your spirit was wired differently, trained differently, awakened differently. Chosen ones rarely blend in because they're not designed to. Your sensitivity is discernment. Your intensity is purpose. Your depth is calling. Your difference is assignment. Heaven marked you early, even before you understood what that marking meant. Chosen one, you have outgrown environments that once satisfied you. You speak differently now. You think differently. You choose differently. You pray differently. And heaven is about to place you among people who understand you, align with you, support you, and speak the same spiritual language. You are done being the strong one in rooms that refuse to grow. You are done pouring into people who drain you. You are done shrinking so others feel comfortable. The next people who enter your life are not leeches. They are lifters. They are destiny carriers. They are divine connections that multiply what God has placed in you. Chosen one, another sign of your elevation is this. What used to trigger you no longer does. The old fears don't have the same power. The old emotional wounds don't open the way they used to. The old insecurities don't dominate your thinking. This is because heaven has been healing you layer by layer, quietly and steadily. Healing does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like not reacting the way you once did. Sometimes it feels like finally breathing again. Sometimes it feels like finally letting go of what hurt you. Sometimes it feels like waking up and realizing you are no longer carrying the weight you used to carry. Chosen one, your one-night shift will touch every part of your life, spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationally. But the greatest transformation will be internal. The real miracle is happening inside you right now. Heaven changes your identity before it changes your circumstances. Heaven aligns your spirit before it aligns your surroundings. Heaven strengthens your foundation before it expands your territory. Your inner atmosphere is being prepared for external elevation. Chosen one, the stage is being set. The actors are in place, the timing is perfect. Heaven has written your next chapter, and you are about to step into scenes you never thought would belong to you. Get ready, your story is turning. Chosen one. As we step into this final movement of the message, I need you to understand with absolute certainty. You are standing in the last moments before the unveiling. You are not preparing for a distant future. You are preparing for an immediate shift. Heaven has been aligning, arranging, and activating things around you that your natural eyes couldn't see. But your spirit has felt it. The pressure, the stretching, the restlessness, the unusual quiet, the sudden clarity, the deep knowing that something is different. That knowing is not imagination. It is spiritual confirmation. You are approaching the moment where everything hidden becomes visible. Chosen one. The atmosphere around your life is changing. The people assigned to your destiny are being drawn toward you like magnets. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach are quietly moving into position. Ideas that once felt impossible now feel attainable. The invisible realm is moving, shifting, rearranging, and heaven is preparing to breathe on every seed you've planted in faith. The years that felt wasted were not wasted. They were being stored. Heaven is about to repay you with interest in peace, interest in provision, interest in clarity, interest in favor, interest in restoration. What you lost in one season will be multiplied in the next. Chosen one, I need you to catch this with your whole spirit. Your acceleration will be undeniable, not subtle, not confusing, not questionable, undeniable. Heaven is about to make your rise so clear, so precise, so divinely orchestrated that even your doubts will bow. You are stepping into a season where things begin to move with a rhythm that feels almost supernatural, because it is. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, hearing the right words, meeting the right people, receiving the right opportunities. Not because you chased them, but because heaven assigned them. Chosen one, heaven is also about to deal with something you haven't spoken about out loud, the silent fear of being disappointed again. You've experienced seasons where you expected breakthrough, only to face another delay. Seasons where you hoped, only to be met with heartbreak. Seasons where you believed, only to feel forgotten. And now, even though your spirit senses the shift, there's a part of you afraid to trust it fully, afraid to hope too loudly, afraid to expect too much, afraid to be let down again. But hear me, this time is different. Not because you are different, though you are. Not because circumstances are different, though they will be. This time is different because heaven is different. Heaven has declared the appointed time. This is not a human moment. This is a divine moment. The waiting has matured you. The testing has purified you. The stretching has strengthened you. And heaven is about to fulfill what it promised, not as a possibility, but as a certainty. Chosen one, your one-night moment is nearer than you imagine. It will come suddenly, effortlessly, peacefully. You won't need to force it. You won't need to chase it. You won't need to manipulate anything. Heaven's timing doesn't require strain. It requires alignment. And your spirit is aligned now in a way it has never been before. You are spiritually synchronized with heaven's movement. This is why the old version of you has been falling away. This is why the old habits no longer satisfy. This is why the old fears no longer hold power. Heaven has been preparing you to receive without trembling. Chosen one, let me speak prophetically over you. You are about to walk into a season where what used to burden you becomes effortless, where what used to intimidate you becomes manageable, where what used to slow you becomes fuel. Heaven is repositioning you into a flow where blessing meets readiness, where opportunity meets maturity, where purpose meets timing. This is not about luck, it is about divine order. Chosen one, imagine yourself standing in the middle of a divine intersection. One path represents your preparation, one path represents heaven's timing, and one path represents your obedience. You are standing where all three meet. This convergence is what produces sudden breakthrough. This is when one conversation changes everything. One open door changes everything. One encounter changes everything. One decision changes everything. One night changes everything. Chosen one, what heaven is releasing in your life will not just restore what was lost. It will redefine your identity. It will reveal your calling. It will reposition your future. And it will awaken a strength within you that you never realized was yours. You are stepping into the version of yourself that heaven always saw, the version you grew into through every trial, every prayer, every season of waiting. Chosen one, your bloom is inevitable. Your rise is appointed, and your one-night breakthrough is already written in the timeline of heaven. Chosen one, if this word stirred your spirit, don't let it fade. Declare your agreement by commenting Amen. Share this message with another soul who needs hope. And if you're ready to walk fully into your divine season, subscribe and stay connected. Your breakthrough is already in motion.